What's up everybody? Natty B and Mikey C here for the first video in a series that we're gonna start doing where we're just gonna be bringing up topics that have come up for us recently, topics we've been learning about, that we've really been implementing in our own lives that have really kind of been life-changing. And before we get into the topic for today, we just want to give a little disclaimer that we're not claiming to be experts on any of these topics. It's really just that we want to share what we're learning with everyone and just kind of bring it up and start discussion around this stuff.
Love that.
So the topic today is something that's been huge in both of our lives recently, and that topic is surrender. So I've been learning about this topic recently. I've been reading a lot of Michael Singer. He's the author of the book, The Untethered Soul. That's his super popular book. And he also wrote The Surrender Experiment. And that is an amazing book if you haven't read it. I highly recommend it. And he just talks all about how when he was younger, in his 20s, he started learning about Zen Buddhism, and the topic of surrender came up, and he started to just implement it in his life. And what that looks like for him, to sum it up, is just ignoring the voice in your head. So it's we all know we have that voice in our head. That's why everyone tries to meditate, because it's we don't want to have to just listen to our crazy thoughts all the time that are just making us feel anxiety about the future or questioning everything. It just adds a lot of stress to our lives. But the whole idea of Zen Buddhism is really to just acknowledge that that voice exists, but to acknowledge that that voice is not you. So to me, surrender is really just letting go of your personal preferences in every situation as much as you can, letting go of the voice in your head that says, oh, I want it to be this way, I hope it turns out this way, letting go of any expectations, any desire for things to be different from how they are, and to just surrender and kind of let God's will take over. And that's what surrender is to me. That's what I've been implementing in my own life. I've been using this in my life a lot recently, and it's been having a crazy effect. Things are just flowing so much more. It's also just on a daily basis, the little things that happen in my life, whether it's I'm sitting in traffic and the voice in my head says oh my God, I'm gonna be late, I have to get there. I start getting all stressed, but then I'm wait, surrender. Because ultimately, the way things are supposed to happen, it's gonna happen that way. So if that voice wasn't in my head, I wouldn't be stressed. So I've just been letting go of that, and things have just been so stress-free and just peaceful and really flowing in a beautiful way. So that's kind of my experience with surrender recently. I have a lot of examples, but I won't go into all of it right now because I want to hear from you, Mike, what surrender has been like for you, how you've been implementing it in your own life, and just sharing.
Oh my gosh, that was so well said. And for my birthday was just a week ago, my word of this year is surrender. It came to me so strongly because, as you guys know, for those of you who know me, I love taking action. I proactively always try to create things, bring things to life. And with that comes a sense of I want to control things, control outcomes. And this has been the perfect word for me to start dipping into, to start leaning into, surrendering, which to me is really about letting go of expectations and outcomes. Not get so worried about, oh my gosh, this has to work out perfectly because this has to happen. Just let it go. Try your best and let go of the rest. Oh, I just made that up.
Try your best to let go of the rest.
I never said that before. But
that's a great tagline.
Right? So it's so true, and let whatever you believe in, whether it's God, the universe, whatever, higher power, just let that flow. Do your best, and come from a place of love when you take action, not a place of stress and anxiety, and then let things fall as they may or as they will, So I think that's so important. So that's really what I'm practicing in my life, is letting go. And as I do that, all this beautiful stuff happens. It just flows into my life perfectly. I'm worried about, I gotta pick up my car and it's not gonna be ready, this and that. And I said, let me surrender, and however it works out, it's gonna work out. And it works out perfectly. When you let go of that, you can feel yourself in a different state. That lower vibrational state of stress or anxiety where I gotta do this. Oh my God, I gotta call these people. Oh, is this gonna happen? Versus hey, I'm gonna let the universe, let it unfold and come at it from a place of love. That's it, right? So it's been so powerful in my life, and it's counterintuitive to how I am because I want to control everything. So it's hard for me. And when I first right at my birthday when this came to me so strongly, I had resistance toward it. I was like, no, I don't want to surrender.
Yeah.
I want to take action. I want to create things. But it's so powerful for my life and obviously for Natalie's too. So yeah, there are a few of my thoughts on it.
And it's kind of like counterintuitive in a way, because I think a lot of times, at least this is how it was for me, when I thought about the word surrender, I thought that meant you just don't take action. And I'm like, well, how do we just live our lives like that? Just, you don't ever take action, you just like sit around and do nothing. But it's actually the opposite. It's that you're letting go of your own personal desires, and you're letting the huge, enormous force of like the universe, of God, whatever you believe, you let that take over and let things work out the way they're supposed to. And you'll find in your life that when you do this, when you do surrender, you will have opportunities to take action, and it's all gonna work out perfectly, like better than you could have even expected. It's hard to like explain because you just have to do it and like see how it works, but it really is like powerful.
That was so well said. And just to add one extra piece to that, like I said before, you will, as you surrender, you will be called to take action from a place of love, from a place, it'll come to you. So like when you surrender and you let the universe unfold in front of you, then you'll just know what action to take, and it'll come from a really great place, and it'll make sense versus like trying to control the outcome or have an expectation of what's going to happen. So you're right, it's not about, oh, I just sit back and not take any action. Of course, taking action is great, but you got to do it in the right manner, in the right way for beautiful outcomes to happen. So
yeah, exactly. Should we share like maybe an example from our own lives, or like one of us give an example of a time we surrendered and kind of what it looked like?
Absolutely. And I won't give like, I have specific examples, but in general, something that's so profound for me with surrender is I love bringing my friends together, creating events, bringing people together. And when I was younger, I was always so worried about making them perfect and having everybody I wanted there. And so I would like bug people or be like, come on. And I would get upset if like people bailed or didn't want to come. And as I've started in recent times surrendering to all the events and things that we create, and just whoever comes, comes, and whoever shows up and whatever happens, happens, it has been every time the most perfect group of people. Wow. Every time. Whether somebody couldn't make it this time, before I'd be like, oh, I gotta bug this person, they gotta come, and I would stress myself out. Where when I surrender, whoever shows up, it ends up being the most beautiful experience. So I've seen a huge shift in my own level of stress and my own level of surrender with all the things that we create on a regular weekly basis. So
I love that.
It's been huge for me.
I love that. Yeah, and something that Michael Singer says when he's talking about surrender that just reminded me of is like, he's like, look around in the world. Look at just nature unfolding without anyone getting involved. Look at the trees growing, the rain falling, the animals, like all of it. And he's like, yet for humans, we feel the need to like control every little thing. Whereas he's like, if we just let go of the control, imagine what'll just unfold beautifully the way it's supposed to. So that's kind of how I'm trying to like think of it when I'm like surrendering in my own life. I'm like, okay, my little brain thinks it wants this. It thinks it wants things to be this way. But maybe it doesn't actually know what the best path is for me.
100%. And the best action I've taken was after I surrendered. It felt so good. Like when I surrender and let it go and let things flow and things materialize, then I'm called to take an action, and it feels so smooth and perfect. Like I love it. So yeah, try it. I think it's so powerful.
Yeah, give it a try. And any last words? I think.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a powerful word. Keep it in the forefront of your mind as you go about your day. And you deal with things, whether you're stuck in traffic, whether you're going to the store and there's 50 people in line, just surrender and say, hey, this is what was meant to happen.
Exactly.
Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
You know?
It's happening all the way it's supposed to.
I love it. So yeah, wait for more videos. We're gonna come out with some really cool ones. And I would say this, and I'll let you end, but if there are any topics or things you'd love us to bring up or discuss, let us know. Reach out to us, right? You know, because there's so many things that we could talk about that are just not normally talked about each day. You know, so we can really bring those topics up and have cool discussions. And then once we put our heads together and start discussing these things, great stuff happens. We have all these epiphanies and realizations.
Yeah, I love it.
So
yeah, thanks so much if you've watched it to the end of this video. And if you have any thoughts yourself on surrender, maybe let us know in the comments or wherever we're posting this. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts and everything. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video.
That's amazing. That's a great point too. One last thing is, we didn't talk about everything with surrender today. So there's so much more to it. So like, if you guys have thoughts, definitely leave comments, or we can do future videos on this as well, right?
Yeah, I would love to.
Love it. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
See you later.